Nerds, welcome back. So today I have my very first Christmassy build for you, and this one is the cottage from the movie The Holiday, which is called the Rosehill Cottage if I'm not mistaken. And let me tell you, this might be my favorite house build that I have ever done as of yet. It is actually like my actual dream house. I would say that. Like, this house is so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. It's so cute and cozy, and it's just everything that I would dream of if I were to buy a house, which isn't gonna happen anytime soon, but anyway. So I've recently rewatched The Holiday, and I had actually forgotten how good of a movie it actually is. Like, the actual movie is really, really good. I think in terms of like Christmas movies, they're not typically like the best movies ever made. You know what I mean? They're like, they're Christmas movies, so they're just like for a very specific time of year, and they just have a very specific theme, and they're not really made to be like a great movie in general. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. I don't know. However, this movie, in my opinion, is actually really, really good. Like, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, it's really a good movie. Like, it is like an actual great movie in my opinion. So I was kind of surprised because I haven't watched it in a while. Like, it's been a few years, so I didn't really remember it to be this good. But anyway, so the cottage itself, I had been planning on building that actually last year already. And I know like everybody has been building it. I'm not like the first one to do this. I never really got to it because, I don't know, I kind of felt like it's a bit boring, honestly. Like, you know, when I saw the movie, obviously the movie is not really about the cottage, so it's not, you know, they don't really show the house like all that much. So I didn't really think it was that interesting, especially like the exterior is very, like, it's a typical like English cottage, which is not really that interesting. You know, it's very square. It has like these two chimneys on each side. And yeah, it's not very like catchy, like eye-catching if you look at it, you know, from the exterior especially. But looking at pictures, I have to say it is so beautiful. Like, the second that I looked at pictures, especially from the interior, I was like, oh my god, this is so cute and so pretty. I mean, I already knew that it was cute on the inside, but I didn't remember it to be this gorgeous and this cozy, especially, you know, all the wooden planks on the ceiling, and it's just gorgeous. Anyway, so typically for me, the exterior would be my favorite part about a build. Like, I'm typically not very much into the interior. In this case, however, I really was kind of like, I was getting a bit frustrated with the exterior because it is not that interesting, as I said. And like, if I were to build this like just from, you know, just without it being like from a reference, like from an actual movie, I would have made like certain, you know, I would have included a lot of details. I did actually try to make custom roofing, and I did do that. I'm just not including that here because it just, I didn't use it in the end. I tried to, you know, the roof of the original is kind of crooked, you know, and we can't really manipulate roofs that way in The Sims. So I kind of tried to find a way to make that happen. But yeah, it didn't look right, so I decided not to use it. And yeah, I'm kind of rambling. I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm very excited about this build, as you might be able to tell. And let me tell you, this video is, I think, like 48 minutes long, which is a long time. Like, I don't even know how I'm gonna manage to talk for, I don't know, like 45 minutes or whatever it is without the cinematic shots. So we'll see about that. Okay, so I am gonna start talking about this build. So this is what I try to do. I try to, because the original, very important for this build in my opinion, is the landscaping, or like because it's really like out in nowhere really, so there's nothing really around it except for like fields And it's kind of on a how do you say that, like it's I don't know, like on a diagonal, you know, the terrain is a bit like, I don't know what the word would be for that, but I try to kind of make that work with using terrain so that it kind of looks like, you know, the ground just goes that way, or probably that way if you're looking at me. So I tried to make that work using terrain. And then I used the cottage living stone fences from Debug, and you can rotate them with tool. And so I did that to kind of make it look like, you know, everything's kind of going downwards. And yeah, I think it turned out okay. It's not that obvious, actually. I would have liked it to be more visible in a way. Unfortunately, you know, I can't really manipulate the terrain outside of the lot because it kind of, you know, the whole area kind of goes in that downward direction, if you can say it like that. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. And I did actually also look up floor plans, and there were some floor plans that showed that at the back of the house, there's like some sort of bump out, maybe like a terrace or something. I did not include that because I wasn't really sure if that's actually the case, or, you know, if that's just a floor plan that someone made. And also I didn't really, you know, it's in winter, I didn't really feel like including a terrace or like a backyard kind of area. And yeah, the lot is not that big anyway, so I decided not to. And here I'm just working on like some custom stairs. I use this, that's kind of like a pillar from base game, I'm pretty sure. You can find it in the debug menu. And it doesn't have a footprint, so if you rotate it with tool, like in a 90 degrees angle, is it 90? Yeah. So that it lies flat on the ground, and the Sims can just walk straight through it, and you can just lower it into the ground also with tool, so it kind of looks like, you know, it's yeah, you can kind of make it look like stairs. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty cute. And now we're onto the interior, and here I'm starting to work on the well, the whole like wood ceiling kind of situation. So there are a few like wooden pillars, and I was like in the beginning I used just the normal pillars that we have in the game, but I decided to use some debug items because they kind of just looked more detailed and more nice. So I decided to go with those. And then for the wooden planks on the ceiling, I used just a wooden board also from Debug, and just sized it up a bunch. And then yeah, I just basically just lifted it up with using 9 on the keyboard, and just replicated a bunch of those and placed them all over the ceiling. Now I did do this before I started decorating the interior or furnishing or whatever, because, you know, it's easier to place things when it's all empty. And then my plan was to just, you know, if I select everything with tool and then I just place it somewhere else, you know, off the lot, I can just leave it there and then go back into tool and just click undo, so everything will just be back in its place. What I was not thinking of though was that I will use tool while I'm furnishing, you know, so once you do something else with tool, you won't be able to, you know, just click undo. Yeah, because like you will have done like a million steps in between, you know, and yeah, so that didn't work, and I had to do everything again at the end. And yeah, but I'm not showing you that. Like I thought it might be enough to just show you how I initially did it, and I will show you later on like what I did on the upper floor, like the first floor. So yeah, this is the kitchen, and one thing I will say, I did forget to include a fridge. Which is weird, I know. I kind of do that a lot. Like, I forget fridges all the time. I've said that before. I don't know why. Like, I don't know what that's about. Who would forget a fridge? That's like the most important thing in a kitchen, you know, like you can't do anything without a fridge, like not even in The Sims, you know, so I don't know. But yeah, the kitchen is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's pretty small, and it was actually quite the challenge to make everything fit, like especially the table. So this is the house of Iris in the movie. That's her little cottage in Surrey, and she has like a table with 4 chairs in the kitchen. And yeah, if you know me, I will try to make everything as close to the original as possible. And so was my plan with this. And I did have to, like, you know, move things around quite a bit before I managed to actually make that work. But now it actually really, like, everything works, even the fireplace, which is, I don't know, for me that's kind of like a miracle, because my Sims always have trouble lighting the fireplace. It's kind of like you place a coffee table in front of the fireplace, you know, and for some reason they are not able, they can walk there, but they can't light the fireplace. It's ridiculous. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Here I actually changed the staircase a little bit, because initially I had just how do I say that? Like, you know, you can, with stairs, you can kind of fold them once. I don't know, fold is not the right word, but I think you know what I mean. But I found pictures that kind of made it clear that the stairs go like in a circle, kind of, you know, like in a half circle. And so I decided to try and achieve that. And so yeah, that's why I went back and kind of changed the stairs. So yeah, the kitchen is, I think it looks pretty close to the original, especially the colors. Like, I was super happy about the cottage living counters, because they're pretty much exactly the shade of blue and also the shade of wood that I found like on pictures, you know. In general, I think the blue, like the wood swatches, the blue swatch that came with cottage living is really kind of spot on. Also, like for the exterior, there's like the windows and doors are blue. And yeah, the blue that we have with cottage living and also with cats and dogs, like they're very kind of muted blues, you know, a pale light blue. And they work pretty well. Like, yeah, in my opinion, they're very spot on. So, yeah, and this is my favorite part. It's cluttering up those shelves above the fireplace. And the reason why this is really kind of like my dream home, like if I was able to buy a house, it would be a cottage, definitely. I don't know where it would be, somewhere not in Germany probably. So it would be a cottage. It would be on kind of like the countryside. Not too far out though, you know, you want to have like a little bit of, you know, you want to be able to go into town. And it would be very much wood, you know, very warm, kind of, you know, a lot of wooden planks, like aged kind of flooring, you know, wood flooring, and then like everything kind of small, which is one thing that I kind of, well, I don't regret it, but you will see the upper floor, like the first floor, it is actually a little too big. Like if you see the movie, you see, and if you see pictures, it's only the bedroom and the bathroom. The bathroom's okay, but the bedroom's very big, and it's much smaller in the original. And it's because, again, I found floor plans that kind of showed that on the first floor, like it's not exactly like the ground floor, which, you know, seeing the exterior, you would think that, but apparently, you know, there's a lot of like, I don't know what it is exactly, like if there's like, just roofing around it, or I don't know, like, but I could not make that work. Like, if I would have changed that, I would have had to change the exterior as well, at least windows, and I did not want to do that because, you know, that's kind of like the main focal point that you see, you know, when you think of this cottage. And so I wanted to make that like look as spot on as possible, so I decided to just leave it. Yeah, to just leave like the upper floor a little bit like bigger than it should be, basically. Okay, maybe I should start talking about what I'm actually doing. I'm kind of like all over the place, I don't know. Yeah, so this is the entrance area. I did actually find a lot of very good pictures of the cottage, of the interior, that is. And of course, everything's not perfect. Like, she has in the interior, she has actually like the style, I would say, in Iris' house is very kind of grandma style, but also she has some, especially some textures that are a little bit like boho. I mean, obviously it's kind of like, it's a cottagey style, you know, kind of maybe farmhouse style in a way. But then there's some things that are a little bit boho, just like a tiny bit. For example, in the entrance area, she has like this shelf, which is made from this kind of woven, I don't know how you say that, but it's kind of like a basket kind of material. I don't know. So obviously we don't have that. We have this one table that came with, did it come with cottage living? Might have come with cottage living. Which is just kind of like a decor for like, it has plants and everything. And it has like a detail at the back that is a little bit like that. So I did include that and kind of hid the table. Wow, I just spit all over the place. Yeah, so I just hid like the table part away. So yeah, it kind of had a little bit of that, like, yeah, that texture, I guess. And yeah, and also she has like some metal-y things as well. I think that's also something that I love about this house, that it's very mixed, you know, mixed styles kind of. I love that. It kind of, I really don't know how exactly to describe this, but in my opinion, something like a house gets very cozy once it's kind of, it doesn't look neat, you know? It doesn't look very tidy and put together. It kind of looks like a little bit like all over the place. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, in my opinion, that kind of just makes something special and unique and homey and lived in. That's kind of what, like, the effect that it has. So yeah, I really love that about this house. And here you can see actually there's a toilet. It is like that in the original. And you will find, you know, there's a lot of like, what's the word actually? What is that word? Diagonals, kind of, you know, there's like the roof is kind of coming through here and there, and so the walls would be at an angle. I don't, like, there's no better way that I could describe this, but I guess you know what I mean. So, however, the toilet on the ground floor, you don't really see the toilet, you just see the door, you know, and people going inside. And it is teeny tiny, that's what it looks like. And I did actually manage to do that as well, because I really wanted this to be like a tiny little room. So it is actually underneath the stairs, and there's a half wall that kind of cuts off the stairs, and you do actually have like the angle of the stairs inside the toilet. And there's actually just a toilet, nothing else. There's no sink, nothing, you know. Well, I mean, they have toilet paper, and I think there's like a painting, and there's light, but that's it. So yeah, and now I'm working on the living room, and so the downstairs area is kind of just open, you know, it's a very open kind of space. Which I typically don't really love, you know. I mean, it's not true. I do love that, but it's not typically what I would consider to be very cozy. But in this case, due to all the wood, you know, and the wooden ceiling and all that kind of stuff, it kind of just works. And also another thing that I've noticed watching the movie, I think like Iris doesn't have heating in the house. I think so. Like, the cottage doesn't have heating, so it has fireplaces in every single room. I think that's the case. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but there definitely is fireplaces in every single room. And yeah, to me that kind of makes sense if there's no heating there. You know what I mean? So yeah, obviously that's something that makes the whole house like super cozy and charming and warm and inviting. And yeah, and I try to, there's a lot of like all over this build, you will find like a lot of custom kind of furniture that I made, especially like shelving kind of units and that kind of stuff. Just like kind of areas where you can just put a lot of clutter. So that's one time that I'm doing that right here. I don't remember what exactly I used. I think those cabinets are from Cats and Dogs, or it's like a, I don't know, like a vanity or something. And then I sized them down quite a lot. And I think I used another table there. And then I also used shelves, I think base game shelves. And yeah, that's I just did a lot of like mix and match there and try to figure out a way to make this look, you know, as close to the original as possible. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty cute. And this window area, I do really love that. I did incorporate this. I saw in pictures that there's like a I don't know what that is exactly, but there are some like wooden planks like on top, you know, on the ceiling that go further down, if that makes sense. So, you know, there's a little actual like window nook, you know, the ceiling is a little bit lower in there. And I really love how that turned out. Like that to me looks so cozy. I would love to sit there and read a book. If I would read, I would do that. And or maybe draw, you know. And yeah, I just love how cozy that little nook looks. I absolutely love it. And I did use a lot of pillows because, you know, the chairs, it's, you know, it's always kind of a struggle. You know, when you want to find like a specific chair, especially like armchairs or sofas, that, you know, they have a certain swatch, but we do only have like a few sofas and chairs with pillows, like with cute pillows, you know, with like different colors and all that. So you kind of have to decide, either you just choose like a different style, but you do have the different like colored pillows, or you go with the style that you're actually looking for and then include some pillows after, you know, like custom basically. So that's what I did. I just used tulle and a bunch of these like poofs that we have, and yeah, I just rotate them and kind of place them like as far back into the sofa or armchair as possible so that they don't like stick out at the back. And it is all functional. Like I always try to make sure that those seats and sofas are functional still, although they have like these pillows on top of them, which they are, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. One thing that did really frustrate me after a while building this is the amount of clutter. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love clutter and I loved to clutter up the space. Like, it was definitely one of my favorite things about this build. But like after a while, it became pretty repetitive because there is so much clutter everywhere in this build. Like every single table has stuff on it, you know. There's not one space where you won't find like pictures leaning against the wall, or like some sort of plant or flowers or candles or like magazines, books, you name it. Like it's all in there. And it's everywhere. And I love that. Like, it looks so cozy and nice, but it was, you know, like after a while I was like, God, okay, another thing to clutter up. And it became a little bit frustrating, not gonna lie. But yeah, I managed to do it regardless. And yeah, I kind of just pushed through. And one thing that I love especially is I have, like in the original house, there's a lot of like pictures. Did I say windows just now? I don't know. Maybe I said like windows leaning against the wall. Maybe I did. Anyway, so she has a lot of pictures leaning against the wall, and I think that's a super nice touch. And for that, I get that question quite a lot. How do I do that? So you will need Tool. You won't be able to do that without Toolmod. At least I don't know how. So you would just use Tool and just place a picture on the wall like you normally would, like a painting. And then you just use Tool and rotate it so that it kind of like leans into the wall, and then you can just like pull it out a little bit so that it looks like, yeah, you can just see it now. I just did that so that it kind of looks like it's leaning against the wall, which, you know, yeah, that's what it does actually. So yeah, and here I'm building another kind of custom closet. I don't know what you would call that, like a little vanity. I don't know what you would actually call that. I mean, I guess it is a closet. I always think, you know, when I think of closets, we have yeah, in Germany we just have like we have kind of two words. We have the word closet, which we would use like for everything, yeah, like a general kind of term, and then we have the word clothing closet. And so that's like specifically for clothes, obviously. And I don't think you have that in English, do you? It's only closet. And that always confuses me a little bit because, you know, I would typically think to say like a different word when I talk about a closet for clothing. But yeah, I'm rambling. I don't know what I'm saying here. So this is the office, and this is definitely the room that I found least pictures of. I think I only had two. One is like from the kitchen, like a view from the kitchen looking into the office. And another one is where you can just see the chair kinda and all the shelving around it. And yeah, that I absolutely love that about the picture, you know, this custom kind of shelving. It looks like a built-in bookshelf kind of thing, and very homemade. And I tried to make that look a little bit like that by using so I use the wearables bookshelves because they look very like kind of handmade. And then I added like a bunch of simple shelves where I just placed like a lot of books and clutter on and that kind of stuff. So that's how I tried to make this look like custom, yeah, built-in bookshelves basically. And I think it turned out pretty cute. Yeah, it's not ideal. Like again, in the original, you would see like the ceiling coming down a little bit, you know, from the roof, and you know, some angles there, and that didn't, you know, I didn't really. I mean, maybe I could have made that happen somehow. I don't know, by using Tool, using some sort of maybe a shelf, size that up. I could maybe try and do that next time, but yeah, you know, I decided just to go with like straight walls because, you know, that would have been quite the effort. And this house took me a long time anyway, as it is. So, I mean, yeah, it's like a 48-minute video, so it is a long build. And that's actually pretty weird because the house is it's only a 30 by 20 lot, and the house is not big. Like it's only one bedroom, one bathroom, one toilet. So yeah, it's really not that big, but it's just very detailed. You know, I just put in a lot of details and a lot of love, and yeah, I just and I had so much fun like furnishing this build, which really is rare for me. Like I mean, I won't say I don't have fun usually decorating the interior, but I usually really very much prefer the exterior. And whenever I need to furnish, I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I kind of just, you know, close my eyes, walk through it, and as fast as possible. Well, not quite like that. I mean, you know what I mean. But in this case, it was so fun. Like, it was so... I don't know, I kind of felt like all the love that went into like decorating the set, and yeah, the house is just, I don't know, it's just so cozy, and I can't stress that enough. Like it really is my actual dream house, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the office and I think the bathroom upstairs are actually the only rooms in the whole house that have different walls, like different wallpaper, which I mean, you wouldn't really call it wallpaper. It's kind of just stone, you know. In some parts of the build, you would just see the natural stone from the exterior on the interior as well. And then on other parts, it's just a kind of like I think it's probably just flattened out like the same stone, but it's just flat. And yeah, I kind of tried to make that work, to make it look like that by using, I think that's the Discover University brick that I also used on the exterior. And then I think I used a Jungle Adventure stone wallpaper in a yellowish kind of swatch, which the walls are pretty yellow. Like in the pictures that I saw, maybe they are a little bit less saturated than this yellow, but I think it's pretty close. And maybe it's more like a yellowish beige. That's maybe like what it is, but it just looks very natural, you know, like a natural, like sandy stone kind of thing, I think. Which I found pretty interesting, because thinking about the house without looking at pictures, I would have thought it would be more like cream colored, you know, more towards like a white, but it's not. And I guess that's kind of part of why it looks so cozy, you know, because yellow is much more of a warmer kind of color than white is, you know, or cream, in my opinion. Like it makes everything look a lot more warm, I think. Yeah, that's what warm colors do usually. So yeah, so this is the upstairs area, and this is the bedroom. Like I said, it's much bigger than the original. Like I would have preferred to kind of cinch everything in a little bit, you know. But what I did, I already got rid of some of the space by just placing walls, you know, and just kind of making like a crisscross pattern so that it's obvious that it's not used space, you know. It's kind of just like, you know, to make everything a little bit smaller than it is. But I could only do that like in certain places where there were no windows, you know. Otherwise, you know, I would have had to replace some windows or put them in different places, and I didn't want to do that because of the exterior, like I said. And yeah, but I mean, it's okay. At least like that, the Sims don't have trouble, you know, accessing stuff. And yeah, that's usually like a bit of a struggle for me when I'm building very, very small spaces. But in this case, they are fine. I did playtest everything like I always do, and everything should work just fine. I did actually, in the end, the fireplace here, I covered up the, I think it's the, it might be Decor to the Max or the wedding kit that we got. Is it a kit even? I don't know, I'm not sure, but we have one fireplace that is from one of the new kits. And it is white, and it has like this little like glass kind of front, you know, where you can just close the glass tiny little doors. And that's what the fireplace in the original had. It has like a glass kind of something in front of the where the wood goes in. And this fireplace, I'm pretty sure it's the only one that has that kind of looks a little bit similar to the original. However, it has some gold, like some golden accents, which I did not love. Like that's not like the original at all. So I used this empty fireplace that we have. It's just like a decor kind of fireplace, and covered up the, you know, the actual fireplace. I did, however, have to get rid of that because it did not, like, they couldn't access the fireplace, like the actual fireplace, which, yeah, I mean, I could have known that. It makes sense, you know, but I wanted to try it anyway, but yeah, I had to get rid of that. So there will be like the golden little aspects, which I don't love, but yeah, still, like, it's a cute fireplace, and if you don't pay too much attention, you won't really notice it. And this TV corner, it has a DVD player or Blu-ray player or whatever. And I did actually use two of these like consoles and sized them down and rotated them with tools so that they kind of lie flat, and put them on the little table and put the TV on top to kind of make it look like it's a DVD player, or maybe it's even like a VHS, I don't know. Or no, I don't think that a movie is not that old. Anyway, so I think that's a cute little touch there. And here I'm just working on, yeah, no, now I'm not, but there is an area in the upstairs area where I didn't find pictures. So that's the staircase, like the look at the staircase. So yeah, I just put something there that I kind of found works, you know, that I kind of, yeah, I just kind of used my imagination and decided to just go with it, you know, because, yeah, I mean, there were no pictures, so what else would I have done, you know? So I think I just used like a little couch. I think I used the one from the high school stuff. No, it's not stuff. It's a high school actual expansion pack. Yeah, you can see it here. And yeah, just like a table and some clutter and that kind of stuff, lighting and whatever, you know. So yeah, also another thing that I love and that makes this house like so beautiful to me is the mix of colors. And that is something that I absolutely love, and I think that makes a house just very charming when there's like a bunch of different colors that do obviously work well together. But you know, you will see like there's some furniture that's blue, you know, some like wooden furniture that would be painted blue. Then other furniture is yellow, or yeah, some other is white, and then you have just a natural like wooden tone. But there's like a bunch of different wood tones, and I think that's just gorgeous. It makes everything look very homey and very inviting. And yeah, I know I keep saying the same words over and over, I know, but yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of what it does to me, you know? Yeah, and then you will also have the kind of wooden planks. Is that even what you call it? I hope so. On the top floor as well, and I will include them, I think, later on once I'm finished with the bathroom, maybe even after I'm done with the exterior, like the landscaping, I'm not sure. This is the bathroom, and they have this iconic super small tub there where you can like, there's a scene I think with Cameron Diaz where she's in the tub. And I think she's pretty tall. I'm not sure, but I think she's fairly tall. And the bathtub is so small. Like, I think like it's, I don't know, it's quite hard to fit in there. Obviously, we don't have a bathtub that small. It's very narrow kind of, you know, and it's not very wide. But we do have one that has like exactly the same shape, which is kind of, it goes kind of upward, you know, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it is a tiny bit unfortunate that it is not, like the bathtub here is not more narrow, because there is a cute little shelving behind it, you know, also like it looks like a custom shelving unit kind of thing. That would have been cuter with the bathtub being a bit more, like a bit smaller. But I still did that, like I still included that, and it still does work. Like everything works fine. It just looks a little bit like squished, you know, but I mean, I don't mind that. It kind of works with the whole vibe of the build anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here actually. And I'm just cluttering that up with all sorts of like bathroom clutter that we have. And yeah, I really love the bathroom too. I love the... I think that flooring came with the spooky stuff pack, and it's actually one of my favorite wooden floors because it looks so aged, you know, it looks so like there's kind of like splattered, I don't know, is that the right word? I don't know, like it looks bit broken here and there, you know, like the wood is kind of like coming off, and yeah, like very used, you know, and I love that. I think that's just what makes everything look charming, if it looks a little bit like used, you know, and not brand new. So yeah, I really love the flooring in the bathroom, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of a similar flooring to the original bathroom too. And oh yeah, now I'm working on the wooden planks on the upper floor. And again, I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just placing them using number 9 on the keyboard and just raising them up. And there will be some clipping here and there. I think I did try to kind of like make that go away by just I just raised some of the planks up using tool, and I raised them up by like 0.001 or something like that, so that you can't really see it. But every time I did that, it would be, you know, there would be no clipping anymore. But every time I closed the game and came back into it, the clipping would be there again. So I don't really know what that's about. There might be some clipping there. If there is, I'm sorry. I tried to take care of that, but maybe it didn't work. So yeah, now we're working on the landscaping. And for the landscaping, I'm not 100% sure if this is like as close to the original as possible, because I didn't find that many pictures that really showed the landscaping well, because it is set in winter and there's snow everywhere. So I wasn't really able to see like everything. Yeah, I mean, I could see that it's pretty wild, you know, and there's a lot of landscaping there. In some pictures, it kind of looked like the landscaping is kind of everywhere, you know, it's kind of all over the whole, like, you know, outside area. But in others, there were like some grass spaces as well. So I kind of did like an in-between kind of thing, you know. I just have pretty much all around the whole house. There's, well, it's not really flower beds. It's just landscaping, a bunch of bushes and a lot of greenery. And yeah, and also I did place some ivy, but not too much, because it wasn't crazy on the pictures that I found. And yeah, I also used a lot of greenery on the fence, because yeah, in the original it was very, like, there were a lot of, yeah, I don't know, there was a lot of green there as well. So yeah, that's kind of everything I do. It's pretty repetitive. I'm not 100% sure if the trees are, the amount of trees that I put in are like exactly how it is in the original, but I think it is. I think there might be another tree on the left side if you look at the house, like a very tall, very slim one. And I did try to include that, but it just didn't look great. Like, we don't have slim trees like that, like not that slim. And it was kind of like clipping into the big tree on the left. And I didn't like that, so I decided to just not use it. And yeah, there's like 2 trees on the left side anyway, so yeah. And then they have this little bench there, which I think is so cute. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, I put it at an angle. I used tool and rotated it a little bit, so it kind of looks like, you know, I mean, it makes sense because the ground is uneven. So yeah, that's what it would look like. And yeah, I think that's super cute, and it's definitely there in the original as well. And yeah, that's pretty much all I did for landscaping. I'm not showing you all the landscaping that I did because it's just getting very repetitive. It's just the same thing all over. And I did make sure, however, to, you know, to check in spring, summer, and fall as well. And yeah, to make sure that everything looks good in either, like, what's that word? Season. That's what it's called. So in every season, everything should look fine. And yeah, so there's not a lot of color there. It's very neutral. There's a little bit of white, like some white flowers, and I think some yellow, but it's fairly neutral. And yeah, it does look pretty nice in all the seasons, especially in summer. It looks very cute. It's very, yeah, like it's a lot of green there and looks very lush, you know. So yeah, I do really like that. And yeah, I think that's kind of pretty much everything I'm doing. I'm just yeah, using terrain paint here. I'm gonna use a little bit of lighting, but not a lot. Yeah, there is not a lot of lighting on the original, so yeah, that's kind of everything I have to say. Wow, I have been talking for over 40 minutes now. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please enjoy the cinematic shots in the end, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
You